You're now listening to Chaos Culture Radio. I'll be your host, Hakeem Bello. You can catch us on themediabums.com. For you fools who don't listen, THEMEDIABUMS.com. I came to give you life, culture, and tell you how to grow your money tree and everything else. Holla at me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is Chaos Culture Radio, the first episode. And I got
Corinne Stevie,
my host. You know, she just jumped right in. I didn't even was able to finish. Introduce your ass. This is my co-host. She's gonna be co-hosting on some of these joints with your boy. Chaos Culture Radio. You know what I'm saying?
Chaos Culture Radio.
And this is the first episode, man. It's a long time coming. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as I've been procrastinating.
We ain't gonna even talk about
to bring you this pimping.
Yeah.
So our first topic for the day. No, before we get into that, first I want to give you a little background about me. First, I'm gonna let
Corinne Stevie. My name is Corinne Stevie. I am a visual artist, musician, all around creative, coming straight out of MIA 305. You know what I'm saying? Here with Hakeem Bello, we bringing it
certified goon.
You know what I mean? Certified and
switch it down to a Tampa Nugget.
We just ready. We just ready to really get into some real topics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chaos, culture, and obviously we're gonna be broadcasting live, so that's the element of the radio. You already know.
Big facts. So on this podcast, man, we're gonna give you some pimping. We're gonna give you some straight pimping, straight knowledge, money, life, topics, whatever y'all looking for. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna be drawn out like other podcasts. Yeah, I'm talking ish. You know what I mean? They drawing out their podcasts 3-4 hours. Like I got that much time, knowing you going to work, and you only probably got a 20-30 commute. So ours gonna be short and straight to the point. So I ain't gonna even sit around here and mess with y'all. And the funny thing is, I didn't even come up with the first topic. Corinne did. So our first topic is, are we just entertainers and ball players?
Yep. And athletes. Yeah. That's we wanted to hit y'all with something for us to think about, really. You know, we was having a conversation earlier about it, and I just feel like, at the age that I'm at, being a creative, looking back, I feel like the only time I seen successful black people was through entertainment or some sort of sport. And I'm wondering, how does that affect, people in general, you know what I'm saying, that's taking in this media. We all watch TV, we all love, we used to read magazines, and people don't read magazines anymore. But when you think about what's popping, and you're looking for inspiration, you see all your inspiration is coming from two places, even though, I think at the end of the day, black people, people of color, whatever you want to call us, we could be doctors, we could be teachers, we could be scientists. There's so many things we could be, but what gets kind of projected onto us is this idea of the...
Don't mind that. Keep going. Plus another podcast people ain't gonna mind.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just the idea, what's projected onto us most of the time is this idea of being a person who is entertaining the masses, or someone who's out there throwing or catching that ball. So I don't know. How you feel about that? Are we just entertainers and athletes when it comes to mainstream media?
It's funny that you say that, and I'm gonna give you my answer on this, which is kind of crazy that you came up, because I even thought about my own life. Now, we from Dade, and I'm gonna give it to you blood raw. And we have a very big football culture here,
yeah.
Which in any other place down south, especially here, because we have a lot of successful football players. So going to high school, the only thing I seen was like football or rap. Those are the only two things. Me going to college was never a conversation. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
For myself, don't get me wrong, my parents was talking about us going to conversation, and that's due to the fact us being from a third world country.
Right.
So here's the funny thing about this. I played football. My leg got messed up. Then I picked up the mic. Now, I'm at the age where I'm at now, where it's a young man's game, so it's like, what's next? You know what I mean? what's next to do, and I think I think a lot has to do with the media, how they project certain things to us. You know what I mean? Even at a young age, you know what I mean. You might have heard of black doctors, lawyers, and scientists, but that's what you don't see on television,
right?
And that's how powerful the media is, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Now we have social media, and now we're trying to see more different things that are coming up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because people in different places are doing different things, but
right.
I think it does affect us, and I think it's still affecting your youth today.
Right.
Because majority of these young guys we see, and you can relate, because everybody wants to be a rapper now.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a rapper. I can think of probably one show on television that actually showed us in a different light that had a huge impact was the Cosby Show.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, we see how the Bill Cosby situation is going now, where his legacy is just being torn down and ripped to shreds. But what the Cosby Show did for a whole generation, the Cosby Show created a different world, which later inspired a lot of young black youth back from the late 80s, early 90s to go to college, to want to go to HBCUs, to go to these colleges and have these experiences. You know what I'm saying? But before that, I don't even think there was any type of representation of people of color, black people going to college, having a different experience outside from just living in the hood, having kids, being thugs, being gangsters. So the Cosby Show was that one place where we could see this guy, who essentially was middle class. You know what I'm saying? We saw the mother and the father in the home. You know what I mean? Both working great jobs. Their house looked immaculate. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I said looked it. Okay? But, look at it. Everything looked great. And then you had all these different kids who all had different personalities. So that was just that first time where we saw that we were more than just moving on up to the east side. You know what I mean? Staying in the projects.
For sure. Yeah, most definitely. Man, you want to know something? I think the critical thing about this is, and I'm going to also put this point out here. Even growing up in our era, we did hear about doctors and lawyers and stuff like that, but that was on Black History Month. That was 1 month out of the year. And mind you, and for a young person, it was like, well, that was eons ago. You know what I'm trying to say? The only time you hear of people doing great things are white folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're scientists. They're going to the moon. You know what I mean? They're building computers. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? And later on in life, you start to learn that they got the patent from a black dude.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Look at the Jack Daniels whiskeys came out to be like, the formula came from a black guy. You never notice because a lot of it's not televised. And I say media plays a big influence on projecting what you want people to know. And that's the thing, you know what I mean? Thanks to the age of the internet, now we can project what we want people to know so we can get the right information on what you want to hear. You know what I mean? Right.
Because at the end of the day, representation, I think, is very important, like you said, to informing people, informing people about what's going on in the world around them, as well as providing an inspiration for someone who might be coming up in the world who's looking for inspiration. Like television is almost that the next family member. You know what I mean? A television isn't just there, it literally is like, yo, you at home, your parents leave you at home, you watching the TV, and the TV almost becomes like a parent. You know what I mean? So it's a powerful tool. But I wanted to add to the conversation of even just the, astronauts. There was a film that came out last year called Hidden Figures with Taraji P. Henson, Janelle Monáe, and Octavia Spencer. And, their story basically represented, they were basically the Negro computers who worked for NASA back when they were still NASA was trying to get to the moon. So you find out through this story that, for some reason, this story has been hidden for so long, but thanks to people like Pharrell and the people he worked with, they wanted to bring this story to life. And most of the actors and actresses who played on this film, they said they had never known this was something that was going on. And, you know, NASA back in the day, you know, back then in the 30s, 40s, whenever that was, 50s, 60s, you know, they took a chance, and they actually had a section in NASA called the Negro computers. You know what I mean? And majority of those people working those computers were black women. They, you know, and there's one story about one particular woman in the film, and sorry, spoiler alert, but, you know, she tells a story of how because of race relations back then, she couldn't even use the bathroom on the premises of where they were actually doing the math and doing the getting the calculations to go to space. She actually, you know, had to run across campus to use the bathroom, you know, and sometimes she would take so long that they were like, you know, they were telling her, like, you can't keep being late to getting back to work. Are you taking a break? And meanwhile, you know, these are the things she had to experience because she was a black woman in that time of segregation. So, you know, I say all that to say, like, you know, Taraji actually said that she was like, man, who knows? Maybe I would have been a mathematician if I would have known that these type of people existed back then. If growing up, we heard about these type of women or these type of characters, you know, she could only imagine where she would be today. So, you know, that going back again, like, why representation is so important, you know, because there are many ways that you see you can exist. Now you're going to actually try and explore those things, you know, and I think as a human race, we kind of like grow from example. We learn from example. So, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Oh, most definitely. You know, another thing too, I want to also put another point that I think that a lot of people don't talk about, which a lot of kids are attracted to entertainers and to ball players. You know, especially people who live in an ethnic enclave. Biggest word I'm going to say on this podcast today. An ethnic enclave. A poverty-stricken, pissy hallway down projects where a kid might see somebody riding around in a Range Rover or a Phantom.
Right.
And he thinking, okay, how did he get that? Oh, this man went to basketball. Or this person raps and stuff like that.
Right.
Which the ironic thing about that is, you know what I mean, out of one rapper who makes it, there's 1,000 who doesn't make it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
In the point, which hopefully in future episodes that we're going to get in depth in this, that a person who opens up a business can become richer than a person who raps or who play basketball.
Right.
It's been proven. You know what I mean? Like if you got an idea, and it's something that I think that we need to start preaching to kids, like, yo, you want to be rich? Go open up a business.
Right.
Or go follow your dream. You draw, make some drawings, make some t-shirts. You know what I mean? And this is what we gotta preach, because you don't gotta be a ball player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can walk like a ball player, feel like the man, but you definitely don't got to be. You know what I mean? So don't let the media fool you.
And I think there's nothing wrong with, obviously we love entertainers.
Oh yeah.
Most
definitely.
of us are inspired by entertainers. Entertainers are used to promote so many different things.
Oh wow, yeah.
So many times. There are public figures. There are
the only
heroes.
role models they allow us to have.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it, but, you know, in terms of, like, even with sports, you know, these guys, they do so much just to have a you know, a certain amount of success for a certain period of time. They're making tons of money, but it's like most of these guys don't even know what to do when they get this type of money. You know, they blow the money as fast as it comes.
Statistically, half of them gets broke.
Yeah, so that's the other flip side, where it's like, yeah, it's cool. If you are talented in that area and you are successful in that area, that's great. Like, if you feel like that's your dream to be, like, that's in your heart, do it.
Yeah.
And also try things out. It's not saying like, oh my God, steer away from being entertained, steer away, because, you know, a lot of these people, they don't just do one thing. Yeah, the world might know them as this character, but some people are philanthropists. I don't know how.
Yeah. Nobody ain't judging us.
Yeah, people, you know.
This ain't BuzzFeed.
That could be a starting point, you know, because we're artists ourselves. We both make music.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm seeing that as time goes on, you know, we we're realizing that there's more to life than those things. I actually had a question for you. With seeing, like you were saying how, okay, you might see somebody in your neighborhood coming up and, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how in the hood, like being smart, how sometimes people would steer away from, do you think people back in the day, do you think people still steer away from being smart in the hood today?
Oh, most definitely.
Or do you think that's changed?
No, I still think it's very, very much prevalent because drug dealers and gangsters still get more respect and revered as public figures in these ethnic enclaves. When a person who probably was valedictorian, they'll say, that boy's soft as hell. We don't want to hang around him, but usually you're going to be working for that guy. You know what I mean? And the guy who you respect is somebody that's going to be washing dishes for the guy who was a valedictorian. It's been proven. So, yeah, even me. I grew up with a lot of guys who was very, very smart, but I all thought they were soft and corny. I wanted to be around drug dealers. I wanted to hang out.
What do you think that is? Like, that whole perception of, if you smart, you're whack. You know, like, I don't want nobody to know. Because sometimes with me growing up, I felt like I didn't want my friends to know I was getting good grades. It's almost on purpose you would downplay yourself to fit in. And what do you think? What is that fear of in the hood, like, of showing? Or do you think that has a connection to do with historically, the white man or whatever, historically, them slave masters not allowing the slaves to read? Do you think that's some type of correlation between the slave masters not allowing us to read until today, people not, almost being educated and down,
Yeah, I think that has a big correlation to it, but another thing is tribalism. You know what I mean? Because you are who your friends are. Not who your family are. You know what I mean? Your family is your family, but the people who you hang with every day, you want to be like them. You know what I mean? And you want to hang with them. You want to feel wanted. You know what I mean? I think that's what America represents too. Being a part of a group. So hanging with somebody, like being a gangster was way more cool than being somebody who had straight A's growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. And even to this day. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the reason. And that has a sense of tribalism. But it also dates back from a whole mental thing that we went through in our sojourner here. You know what I mean? Everything we went through in the lack of education and the lack of knowledge of self and love for self. You know what I mean? Which allowed us to still to this day, even with technology, people still sound like they dumb as a doorknob. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of these people you see up on here who don't even sound like they ever read a book in their day in their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I bet you that they had the opportunity to go do it, but being around the friends they have made them felt that I don't need to. I don't need to educate myself. Most of my homies are dumb. I want to be dumb with them too.
So maybe, I don't think it's a race thing, but maybe, because I haven't done a lot of research, but from what I understand is that America is, when it comes to the education system, we're already kind of low on the list of smart people, intelligent people. We're not high on that list.
Yeah,
you know
compared
what I'm saying?
to Europe and stuff.
I think we should definitely research that, but maybe that plays a part too, just as a whole, because what we're taught in the school system is we're basically taught to be workers. You know what I'm saying? It's the school to prison pipeline, or the school student to worker pipeline. Like we're raised to just work for the man. To work for, which at the end of the day, look, I'm always saying F the system, but at the same time I understand that I was born into the system, so I have to figure out a way where I can quote unquote stick it to the man.
Yeah, definitely.
But still, as people would say, and not saying be the man, but it's essentially still be your own person, still be you, still not have to compromise yourself. So, but maybe, I think other countries that put education ahead, I'm sure that affects how the people are, how the race functions. Even though I know there's other factors that play into, whether somebody chooses to be smart or dumb. Like you said, it has something to do with who your friends are, but also sometimes even who your family is. I do think family plays a part. Because if you come from slow, dumb family. Not saying that you won't be slower. I feel like there can be opportunity for you to, you know what I mean, rise up and become something else. But, you know, I don't know. I feel like, well, you know, with my family, obviously education was something that was pushed to the forefront. Even though at school or whatever, I had those moments as a young person where I used to downplay my intelligence. But I think now, being grown up, you know, realizing my strength, for me, my strength has always been in my knowledge. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man. I mean, do you want to have any final thoughts about it? I don't know. Yeah,
so, the way, you know what I mean, my last opinion about this is be yourself. It's, for God's sakes, it's 2018. You know what I mean? Your iPhone or your Google, you can learn whatever. And I think you should, education doesn't mean you have to go to college. But education means you just got to educate yourself. Seek knowledge. Find something that you're interested in. You know what I mean? And that's really all that I got on that.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty good. I like
no, definitely.
You made some good
So my
points.
G, we out on this first podcast. This is Chaos. Culture. Radio. Giving you that pimping. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And come back.
You keeping that same energy.
Come back. Don't go. Not yet. There's another episode coming. Man, I just appreciate y'all just listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.